I spent over $1.4 million in a single year with Google Ads alone, and I learned a lot of different lessons. Now, before I continue any further, let's hop right inside the multiple ad accounts which I've handled so far and I'm currently actually handling. By the way, the only ad accounts which I currently actually have access to, which means I did not count the ad spend for those ad accounts which I no longer have access to, especially under my Google Ads agency or marketing. But I'm gonna go ahead and change this time period to this month first so you know it's real. This month so far, we have spent roughly $230,000. Now we change this up to 365 days up to today and scroll down to a whopping $1,593,833. Now keep in mind, this is under 10 different ad accounts under my Google Ads agency. Here we have spent only about $7,950. Another one of the brands which has spent $37,700 and gotten about a 5x ROAS using my strategy. In total, if you kind of pause this video, go back, add all of these numbers up in case you just don't trust me for whatever reason, you will find out that it equals to over $1.4 million in ad spend. Again, this is not a small amount at all. And the biggest part, this is only counting the ad spend for 1 year total. This is not counting the ad spend for the past 4 or 5 years that I've been using Google Ads and all of the ad spend across multiple ad accounts once again, which means the ad spend in total is over $1 million to $3 million. I'm not sure of the exact number, but regardless, $500,000, $500,000 is enough ad spend to learn a few things and to kind of go through the journey every e-commerce store owner goes through. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you all of the things, the major ones at least, I learned running Google Ads for e-commerce brands only now. So let's get right into it. The first thing I learned is that Google Ads, at least in the recent time period, because again, we're only looking at the past year, has started to fluctuate a bit more. And you can kind of see this through the overall results that we can see through the brand. So if we now change it to monthly time period, we can see how there's just so many fluctuations in general for the e-commerce brands. Looking at the overall cost now, and I'm just gonna go ahead and write that in right here so we can see the cost. It would go all the way down and then all of a sudden go back up and then go back down. And it's just been this sort of roller coaster ride in this past year alone. Now, the biggest benefit for me is that I've been able to see e-commerce brands spend their money throughout multiple years. And if I relate this kind of overall roller coaster ride to what I used to have back in the day, which is like 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, it's a very different scenario. And I do feel old saying back in the day, but during those time periods, the olden and golden time periods, as I like to say, there was not this much fluctuation. I mean, you could leave your ads unattended for 2 weeks at a time, and when you came back, you would still have made more profits than you did previously when you were making too many changes. And in general, it was extremely doable to just go out and predict what your sales amount would be for the next 30 days, for the next 60 days, so you could then go and prepare your inventory and all sorts of stuff like that. Now come in the past year alone, and this change is due to the multiple competitors entering the market, the overall fluctuations with the economy, and so many different things associated with that, which has just changed the game when it comes to Google Ads. Unfortunately, this means it has become a bit harder for you to find consistent results with Google Ads. But as you saw right here, there is still consistency available. I mean, if we just look at all of these e-commerce brands, for example, this one right here, and this month alone, I know it's not a lot of ad spend because this runs in the back end and the background. Looking at this one, spending just a little bit of more money, even in that case, the overall ROAS, the overall ad spend is much better than what you can expect from Facebook, TikTok, etc. But again, it has become a bit slower than what it used to be. And again, this is something I derived from not only my own ad accounts, but also from my e-commerce clients under my Google Ads agency, Your Marketing, which if you're currently doing $30,000 or more per month in revenue, you need a little bit of extra help scaling to the next level. Go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can possibly work together and make that happen. But this kind of brings me to the second point, which I learned after spending $500,000 and more just in a single year with Google Ads. That is, Google Ads favors the patient. And no, I'm not saying the patient that is in the hospital bed right now. I'm saying the patient where you don't go in and meddle with Google's algorithm, meddle with the changes that you made within your campaigns on a daily basis, or even in some cases, a weekly basis for the sake of making changes. This is the worst way for you to grow your e-commerce brand, simply because Google's algorithm then starts to work against you. And this kind of goes back to the foundation of how Google Ads works. Let's think about it for a second. With Google, we obviously don't have the ability to choose an interest and then target the people related to that interest. However, we have the ability to make our product pages better, to do proper search engine optimization techniques, so that in turn, Google's algorithm can crawl through our website, crawl through our product pages, understand who our ideal audience member is, and then go out and find that audience member. That's how Google works. If you kind of make too many changes on any given time, Google needs to go through this crawling process, this understanding process on a daily basis. And when there's hundreds of thousands of people searching for your product on any given day, you can see how that causes a big problem for Google's algorithm. I mean, it's just as it starts to gain some kind of consistency, some kind of momentum, you come in and you wreck the entire process and it has to re-optimize. So this is something time and time again, not just in the past year, but in the past 4 years, I've seen happen where those ad accounts where they had the most amount of changes done to them too frequently were the ad accounts that suffered the most. You don't want to do that. You want to let Google's algorithm do its own thing, which brings me to the third point on the list, which is one general strategy framework works for any given ad account based on the selling price of those products within that ad account. Meaning, one framework or one strategy can do really well across multiple different niches if those niches all sell high ticket products, compared to a different framework, a different strategy for all those niches out there that sell low ticket items. So in essence, what I'm saying, I have a bunch of videos on this on my channel where I talk about both high ticket, low ticket, even medium ticket. And the thing is, the strategy that's going to work the best for you if you're a high ticket store, it's different than the strategy that's going to work the best for you as a low ticket or a medium ticket store. That's just the reality of Google. The good news is there is a framework for you for high ticket stores, regardless of what niche you are in. So you could be selling 3D printers, you could be selling big ovens, you could be selling microwaves, whatever you want to sell. If you are a high ticket store, one general framework will work for you compared to a low ticket store or a medium ticket store. A different kind of framework would work for these brands as well. But that's the essence that I've learned with e-commerce, with Google Ads. It's one set strategy, but then again, you want to kind of divide up the strategy based on whether you're high ticket, low ticket, medium ticket. And then again, once you use that general framework, don't just rely on it. There are different sub frameworks which you can then use to then go deeper into the strategies and find better strategies that work for your niche specifically. So I have a lot of videos on this on my channel, so I'm not going to go too in-depth into it here, but just understand there are general frameworks and criteria and strategies for you out there. This brings me to the next point, and that is, unfortunately, and I say this with a very heavy heart, Performance Max campaigns are just not good at smart shopping. I know we thought initially that Performance Max campaigns were gonna be the next newer version of smart shopping and they were gonna outdo every single campaign tab out there. Unfortunately, I've come to realize that nothing can really take smart shopping campaign spot with Google Ads, at least in my heart, and for good reason too. It's just that smart shopping just had this kind of overall approach towards it, which used to work like a charm, and it didn't matter how you laid out the smart shopping, whether you did segmentation or just for all of your products. It was just much easier to get it to work. Now, I'm not saying Performance Max campaigns don't work. They do work, and you don't really have a choice besides them, especially if you run high ticket stores, because standard shopping is a way of the past. But unfortunately, again, what I've come to realize is that they don't work as good as smart shopping, but that doesn't mean that that's an excuse for you not to use them. You just have to find better strategies for them. But that's sort of my opinion of what I learned about Performance Max campaign. This brings me to the next point on the list, which is not focusing on conversion tracking data, or just in general, how you track your data that you get from your campaigns is a surefire way to destroy your e-commerce brand. And again, with Google Ads or just about any other advertising platform in general, you have to understand your campaigns use this data they're getting to then become smarter. So I don't understand how so many e-commerce brands, at least those I'm talking to right now under my Google Ads agency, come to me, they've spent $1 million on ads, maybe even 2 million, only to find out they're not tracking their conversion tracking data properly. I mean, that is a biggest mind blow for me ever, because again, your campaigns work off of this conversion tracking data. There is no way for you to go in and choose a specific interest for your Google Ads campaigns to target, at least with shopping ads. For search, you can do that to a certain extent, but we're kind of relating to shopping ads mostly. So if you cannot do that, then it becomes 100,000 times more important for you to make sure you're getting proper data through your conversion tracking tag. So in reality, if your conversion tracking is not set up properly and you're already starting campaigns, you're already spending money, just stop. Don't run those campaigns anymore. Don't try to scale them. Go back to the basics, fix that up, and then move on to your campaign scaling strategies. Because I guarantee you, even though you might be seeing some data trickling in with your campaigns, it's most likely faulty data. And your campaigns are performing off of faulty data. And we all know what happens to a faulty foundation when it comes to skyscrapers. I mean, within a few decades, you see that skyscraper on the news and you see how hundreds of people lost their lives because that skyscraper was built on a very weak foundation and just came crumbling down all of a sudden. So you don't want that to happen. Make sure you build a very strong foundation. But this brings me to the next point, which is an account with campaigns running with no proper segmentation will grow no further than the target ROASs that you have set within your campaigns. Now, what do I mean by this exactly? Well, again, going back to the proper foundation topic I just mentioned, if you don't segment out your products properly, meaning you have different campaigns and you have segmented your products within each campaign, like for example, a men's campaign for men's product versus a female's campaign for female products, or maybe for the products within different niches. You just have different segmented campaigns running for each. That is what proper segmentation is. If you don't have that done, what's going to happen is whatever target ROAS you set in there, and let's say it works. Let's say you set a 200% target ROAS, which is a 2x, to 50% target ROAS, which is 2.5x. It's not going to grow past that period. It's always going to kind of jump around within that range, and you're always going to be trying to find methods to grow your e-commerce brand further. Well, the easiest way to grow is not through increasing the target ROAS or not even through unchecking that box completely. It's through just segmenting out your products properly. So again, making it so it's based off of niche or based off of selling price or based off of winners versus losers. Just some sort of segmentation is gonna do the trick, because again, the more you segment, and don't go too crazy with this, by the way, don't just have like 2 products in there because it's super segmented. You want to have a decent number of products in there, because the more segmented it is, the better it's gonna perform in the long run. But this brings me to the final point on the list, which is things you do outside of your Google Ads campaigns is gonna equate to 70% of your success. Now, I said it, 70%, not 7%, 70. And a lot of e-commerce store owners, they look at me and they're like, what did you take tonight? Did you take any type of medication early morning? Because that's a very unrealistic number. And let me tell you, I'm saying this after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in ads. 70% of your success is gonna come externally. 30% of your success with Google Ads is gonna come from the strategies you implement on your campaigns. It's gonna come from the buttons you click. It's gonna come from the colorful charts you try to decipher. And that's just the reality of e-commerce. That's the reality of Google Ads. There are various different things you can be doing to allocate 70% of your success to. Things such as proper SEO techniques, things such as using the right images, things such as just having a good landing page. These are all things which can improve your game when it comes to Google Ads. Because again, 30% of your success would be coming from the strategies, from the campaigns as a whole. But again, if you're needing a little bit of extra help with this 30%, you want to scale your e-commerce brand to the next level with Google Ads, and you're already doing $30,000 or more per month in revenue, go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can possibly work together and make that happen. But if you found any type of value in this video, make sure to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and watch any of these 2 videos right in front of my face to help you with your Google Ads journey. And I will see you in my next video.